Welcome to Cricket for Life's new podcast, episode 2. Today we'll talk about India's tour of New Zealand.
So India's tour contained 5 T20s, 3 ODIs, and 2 Test matches.
India won the T20 series convincingly with a 5-0 series win over New Zealand. However, New Zealand came back in the ODI series to whitewash India 3-0.
In the Test, they won 2-0. New Zealand won 2-0 by winning both with a steady lead.
Let's talk about the first T20.
So the first T20, India won by 6 wickets with 6 balls left.
Shreyas Iyer with 58 not out. He was player of the match.
And they also, so New Zealand set a total of 203 and India chased it in 19 overs.
The second T20, India won by 7 wickets, this time with 15 balls left. New Zealand scored 132 for 5 in their 20 overs, with India 135 for 3 in 17.3.
A much less score than last time. Could be possibly because of the pitch.
KL Rahul was very good for 57 not out of 50. Third T20I was where things got better.
Both teams at the end of their 20 overs reached a total of 179 runs, and the super over.
New Zealand scored 17 in their super over, whilst India scored 20. But there was some drama towards the end. They needed 10 in their last 2 balls, and Rohit Sharma hit 2 sixes back-to-back to win India the game.
The second last T20, the fourth T20I, was where India again happened to win the super over, where so both teams set a total of 165, and New Zealand set a total of 13 in their super over.
India chased it comfortably with 1 ball left, winning by 2 runs. The final T20, India won this by 7 runs, with New Zealand scoring 156 for 9 and India winning by 7 runs with 163 for 3.
KL Rahul was man of the series and Bumrah man of the match of the 5th T20.
Now we move on to the ODI series.
On the first ODI at Seddon Park, India batted first and scored 347 off their 50 overs. New Zealand won by 4 wickets with 11 balls left, chasing down 348 in 48.1 overs.
Ross Taylor scored a magnificent century with 109 not out of 84 balls.
Also, Shreyas Iyer scored a century for the Indians.
Now we move on to the second ODI, where New Zealand batted first with 273 for 8 in their 50 overs.
In India, who failed to chase down the target, and they got bowled out for 251 off their 48.3 overs. Player of the match, Kyle Jamieson, who is a debut on his first ever ODI series.
He got 2 for 42 on his 10 and 25 not out of 24 balls. Now we move into the final ODI where we knew New Zealand had won the series. India batted first, 296 for 7 off their 50, and New Zealand comfortably winning by 5 wickets with 17 balls remaining.
And KL Rahul scored an amazing 112. He got caught out, and player of the match was Henry Nicholls with 80.
Now we move into the tests, where India batted first,
India scored 165 in their first innings, with Kyle Jamieson and Tim Southee both taking 4 wickets.
New Zealand then got bowled out for 348, with Ishant Sharma taking a 5-wicket haul and Kane Williamson on 89.
Also, unmentioned, Kyle Jamieson scored the second highest of the team, and he comes in at 8.
India then got bowled out for 191,
with Tim Southee taking a 5er and Trent Boult taking 4 wickets.
New Zealand then needed 9 wickets for victory.
9 runs.
And 9 runs for victory, and it was a simple win with Tom Latham hitting 7 of 4 and Tom Blundell 2 of 6.
Now the final match of the series, which is India versus New Zealand Test match, match 2. So in the first innings, India scored 242 after they got bowled out for 242. Kyle Jamieson taking 5 wickets.
New Zealand then got bowled out for 235. Mohammad Shami with 4 for 81. In reply, India got bowled out for 124 with Trent Bolt taking 4 wickets.
And the highest score in that second India innings was only 24.
And then New Zealand needed 132 to win. They won by 7 wickets.
And 2 centuries from
2 half centuries
from Tom Blundell and Tommy Latham.
Yeah, so that was the series for New Zealand. And now we move on to the Australia versus South Africa series. So I think altogether India were better in the T20 series.
You could tell every single match in the T20s. And I remember watching them live. You could tell India were much more aggressive, and especially they adapted to the New Zealand fields very well. Some fields where they couldn't score as much, they still got out and scored a big total.
Yeah, I feel like New Zealand didn't take their chances at all with the Super Overs. They should have won those 3 and 4 games, but they let India take the Super Over.
And it was a shame that Trent Bolt was injured. He could have, I think, especially for what's the Super Overs, from the World Cup. He played well in that Super Over.
Yeah.
And he handled himself under pressure. In the
ODI series, New Zealand clearly the better team. No Rohit Sharma though for India, so that might have hampered their performance. But still, New Zealand lost.
And also, so moving on to the test, on his debut, Kyle Jamieson, who I thought should be player of the series, but Tim Southey, who also played very well, he scored. Kyle Jamieson scored 46 and 49.
Yeah.
Almost reaching half centuries for a bowler.
Yeah. Now we move on to the Australia versus South Africa T20 series. So the first game, South Africa batted first. Australia batted first with a very good total of 196 for 6. In reply, South Africa were nowhere, bowled out for 89 in 14.3 overs. Ashton Agar taking a hat trick and reaching magnificent figures of 5 for 24 in his 4. We move on to the second T20.
The second T20 is where South Africa scored 158 off their 4, and Australia scored 146. Quinton de Kock, man of the match, with 70 off 47 balls.
South Africa eventually won by 12 runs, with David Warner scoring a good 67 not out.
And the series is currently tied 1-1. Now moving on to the final T20.
So Australia batted first again, 193 for 5. And again, South Africa were nowhere, bowled out for 96 in 15.3. Warner and Finch both getting half centuries. Best figures for South Africa were 1 for 25 in their 4. Rassie van der Dussen, 24 off 19 was their best score, and Ashton Agar picking up 3 wickets. Finch was player of the series and Mitchell Starc player of the match.
He only bowled 2.3 overs, Mitchell Starc, and still did good. Okay, so what are your thoughts on that series?
Yeah, I think Australia were a lot better, especially in the first and third game. They bowled out South Africa pretty quickly.
I think, Quinton de Kock also playing really well and becoming now the captain of his side after the England South Africa.
Yeah.
He's doing well for his team.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for listening to our podcast, and
we'll see you next week.